There are always challenges to face together as a couple. What are you guys facing right now?
My feelings are telling me something bad is going to happen.
That's where all of those issues are. I'm like, you're not peaceful. Like, you used to be, and then I don't know what happened, so we did break up.
When that's happening, you don't want this going on.
I really feel like this was for a reason. Even though it was hard, I grew a lot through the summer. I rooted out a lot of those issues.
So you guys got back together. Because something crept up on you and popped and exploded and broke you guys up. Have you fully resolved that, and are you afraid of something like that happening again? Welcome back to the I Wish You Knew podcast. I'm your host, Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. I have a special treat for you here today. We have Axel and Chelby who are joining me, a wonderful young couple that I have worked with briefly in the past. I'm looking forward to getting an update on you guys and hearing how you're doing. And we're going to be solving some relationship challenges here today. Thank you guys for being here. How you doing?
Good. Happy to be here.
Wonderful. Now, how are you really doing?
Oh, good and good.
Give me an update. As it's been a little while. How long have you guys been together now? As an update, because it's been some time. What's your relationship status? I have to ask this in this day and age. And what are you guys here for?
How long have we been dating? You
So,
know these numbers.
Officially, I would say it's definitely close to the 10-month mark. But we have been together unofficially and officially for about 14 months now.
Okay. So about 4 months of talking, kind of feeling it out in between, doing different pieces.
4 months of a breakup.
4 months of a breakup.
Yeah, because, originally when we met, I'm like, hey, babe, we're dating. It was like same day.
Wow.
Yeah, like I
Love at first sight
I have
kind
an
of thing?
entire video. Oh, absolutely. I have an entire video. I was punking her into getting married to me. I was like, hey, this is the kid's names. This is what it is. Make sure that, you tell them right now, like in the video, that you love them. It's like, it's not going to be Lilith. I said, Lilith is going to be hurt when she sees this.
Okay.
Okay. It was pretty early on that.
Understood.
Captured.
Okay. And at what month did you guys break up? Because usually it's about 5 or 6 months for most couples.
I have no idea. April.
It was the very end of April.
Okay.
And then for about 4 months from April to August.
Yes.
And from August to now, so that's another 3. So yeah, okay. I get you.
Yeah.
So it was right at the end of August when things started shifting a little bit, for sure.
So you split at the end of spring. Did the late spring, early summer away from each other?
No, we were together the entire time.
We lived together.
Lived together,
house, yes.
cohabitating. Cool.
So we actually had broken up in one house and then moved into a new house, still broken up.
Okay. Were you guys able to work together effectively during that time? Were you kind to each other? Were you mean to each other? Some couples scream at each other every single day as they have to live together afterward. Other couples manage to work it out.
We did not.
No, we didn't do that.
Shared respect?
Yep.
Yeah. I was avoidant. Like, I was very shut down emotionally about a lot of things because I was very stressed about everything on the sun, money, job, getting my life together and things like that.
Sure.
And so there wasn't a whole lot of communication or even time that I could allocate to having a conversation about a relationship because in my head, I was absolutely through with this. And so through that time, we were pretty close to just passing ships. I knew at that time, I'm like, hey, you need to leave. Previously, we talked about, hey, my brother's coming. She needs to leave and, how that worked out. And then a lot of the stress that I'd been going through started falling apart dissipating because I was taking care of other things. It was always a time thing.
Yep.
And then I could focus a little bit more on the problem at hand, which was Shelby still being there. And then, I don't know, it was like one day I was like, we can try.
It was very much
it was
the avoidant light switch in his brain. And had I not followed your content and been very aware of what was happening, I'd been like, what just happened? Excuse me. So I had been telling my best friend, I'm like, this is exactly what's going to happen. We're going to get to this point, and then he's going to change his mind. One day we sat down, and he's like, I still feel the same way. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it does make me sad. I have a little bit more feeling towards that. And then literally the next day, he came and was like, actually, I changed my mind. Everything else, like, nope, I changed my mind. And what had happened was it was peaceful long enough. He'd taken care of all the other stressors. He wasn't in survival mode anymore. And it was just, his brain was like, oh, actually,
maybe I like her.
yeah, actually, I don't want to just walk away from this. Okay. And that's where it was so hard to actually separate, because the entire time I knew that, even though he was saying something different, I could feel that that wasn't really what he wanted. Mm-hmm. It was definitely like the timing of what he needed, but he didn't actually want me to go away. Yeah, because it would have been very different had I actually walked away. I don't think that you would have come out of it as soon as you did, because you'd still have other things to worry about. And
yeah.
Hey guys, just pause for a second. I know that here on this program, we talk a lot about attachment issues and about fixing them and how great that feels. But I know that a lot of you in the comment sections have told me that you feel overwhelmed and intimidated at the idea of trying to go through and fix your attachment challenges. Some of you are in relationships and you don't know how to help your partner repair their attachment, share their feelings, and be more connected to you in a productive and loving way. For those of you out there who are struggling, I want you to know that we offer a special program designed to work with you on a strict schedule, even if you only have an hour a week. The Attachment Repair Program is designed to help us, all of us certified attachment specialists inside the program, walk with you through your journey on a measured step-by-step process for fixing your attachment issues. This is great for individuals or for couples who are wanting to overcome their attachment issues and never be haunted by those problems ever again. So if you're afraid of rejection, if it's hard to share your needs, and if you're feeling stuck and nothing else has worked, join the Attachment Repair Program today, and let's work together on building a great relationship for the rest of your life. During that time, were you helping him manage his stress in some way, helping him decrease those stressors, bringing things down?
I definitely was trying.
Beautiful.
Definitely trying, but it's hard.
It's very hard.
When
it's very hard. During that time, looking back, was she assisting you in managing stressors? Was she helping you in some ways?
She was doing little things around the house, but cooking sometimes, she'd do that. But as far as the communication of like bringing those things down, that wasn't it. I think probably the best thing in that time she did was literally just leave me alone. So I could continue doing stuff and not bring up relationship talks consistently.
Yep.
Because that just brings back old memories and issues you had. Yep. And just literally leaving me alone to do what I needed to do was the only reason why we're here today.
Cortisol levels. When the cortisol level gets high enough in the brain, it can't handle it, and you flip into that sympathetic nervous system, blocks the oxytocin receptors, they're gone. Especially for men, like, when we're stressed out, we don't want to hug. We don't want to love. We don't want anyone talking to us or sharing feelings. We don't want to open up. We just want to we want to handle the problem and get through the problem. Turn the feelings off, be done. Avoiding people even more so.
Yeah.
Right? Makes sense. Okay. And you were able to give him that breathing room. I remember a couple of emails. I just remember a couple. And you were like, what do I do? And you were very clear. You were like, Adam, I need clear instructions. I need to know what to do. Tell me exactly how to handle this. And you did. Yep. Sounds like you did fantastic. Beautiful. Congratulations and well done.
Thank you. I mean, hey, the best thing that I got from you was understanding that he's just a cat. And
scared cat.
Being on my end where I'm more anxious, learning that I have avoidant tendencies, but definitely anxious. I'm an aggressive toddler trying to chase a scared cat. And once you said that, and I was just like, okay, step back. Okay. It's space.
Great
way. The biggest thing is just give you space.
No, you guys got back together and the cortisol flipped off and you said, okay, you know what? Had she been self-regulating during that time? Was she calm? Was she peaceful? Was that really initiated for you? Were you able to
a lot of that. So previously, I think one of our big fights after we broken up into the new house was like all the things that you think that you're giving me, which, the things I would want, which would be peace, nice home and stuff, like is non-existent in the way that you're acting and behaving. So even when we broke up the first time, or excuse me, not the first time, but in general at the old house, that's where all of those issues are. I'm like, you're not peaceful. Like you used to be, and then I don't know what happened and changed. And, some of that was alcohol induced. And then later we realized it wasn't alcohol so much. It was, what was that problem? I completely forgot. It was a hormone issue.
Oxytocin?
So I'm on testosterone. And I think some of it was getting to her, messing up her levels because I wasn't being diligent enough, making sure it wasn't.
Interesting.
So her hormone levels were all over the place.
Interesting.
I got wacky.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
And so wacky.
Corrected that mixed with time, like because now we can drink whether it be just for fun or excessively together,
Mhm.
no issues. Like
Yep.
completely different what I'm dealing with at this point.
Yep.
And so that was realizing that, understanding that, and then the time and the peace. And she's done a complete 360 on what she does, not just for me, but like for herself to keep herself contained mentally. It's
Beautiful.
completely
Well done.
different.
Well
Completely
done.
different.
Thank you.
That's one of the worst fears with avoidant partners is that the other person with anxious tendencies, or you said disorganized, is going to collapse into them, and then like he becomes your sunlight and your water and your life, and then you're going to starve and die without him. And that's sounds like the testosterone was kind of messing with you and kind of flipping you into that mode.
It created a lot of problems
Yeah.
for me internally, and that's where it was like coming out in other ways, because like already having the anxious style thinking and behavioral patterns, and then alcohol induced, and then you throw in
And
extra
testosterone.
hormones
No
that
kidding.
I wouldn't even know. I mean, most women don't have high testosterone, and that really gave me a huge lens
Mhm.
and to understand like what drives him and the way he thinks.
What challenges are you guys facing now that I can help you with here today? Because they never go away. There's always challenges. I've been married. I got my 16-year wedding anniversary is next month. We got 5 kids, like, and a dog who won't stop barking all the time. I think the dog has his own personality problems, right? So it never stops. There are always challenges to face together as a couple. What are you guys facing right now?
I think our communication is still really good. I mean, great actually. One of the biggest ones is shifting from a marriage style relationship to still being in the same space, so no separation but broken up,
Mhm.
and then back to being in a serious relationship. Like what are the right steps to take to make sure that those feelings don't come up later? There's no resentment. It's not something that just gets pushed down. We can deal with it and then move on.
Because I do think something that, to her point, we actually never had a real conversation about how to heal from what happened in that situation. We just realized that was the problem. And, for a lot of situations myself, I'm like, isolate incident, sweep it under the rug because it's probably not going to happen again. So since that, like I said, everything has changed with her. And so I don't foresee that being a problem, obviously being chemically induced in a lot of situations.
Sure.
But that damage has still been done, and we haven't done anything to correct that.
Gotcha. Most couples are afraid to bring it up because they're afraid it's going to ruin the good feelings we have right now.
Right.
You guys are in like second honeymoon phase. Everything's happy and wonderful and fluffy. I hear that. Okay. There are some very safe ways of doing it and some ways that will actually bond the two of you more deeply. It is definitely something to get resolved now. I remember there's 16 years with my wife. I remember we went through a rough patch and then we had a second honeymoon and everything was wonderful. And we thought, okay, we're past it. We don't even have to talk about all the bad feelings that were there before. And you just sort of like go on. And a year later, like one of you will say, something you said a year ago has kind of been in my head and I've been trying to ignore it. And I've been trying not to remember that thing you said. And I try to tell myself every day that it's not real and it's just bothering me. Can I to ask you about it? And the other person goes, okay, like what is this going to be? And then you sort of initiate the conversation. That's one thing I can recommend to the two of you. And don't tell me what they are yet, right? But is there anything maybe that was said or anything that kind of still echoes in your guys' heads or in your ears? Anything you wonder, do they still feel that way? Anything like that for the two of you?
I don't have anything that was said necessarily that echoes, at least off the top of my head right now. But I definitely have things that happened. So I'm very sensitive to like minor changes in my environment.
Sure.
And that's where I feel like I pick up on, like, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like this is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you why. I just
Mhm.
feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are things during the time that little things will happen. And I'm like, I don't like the way I'm feeling right now.
Sure.
Because it reminds me of how I felt at the time.
Aha. Okay.
So it's nothing that was said, but more
Mhm.
so behavioral patterns
Yep.
or tendencies
Yep.
that will happen. So
Your brain is sparking off, like warning you that it could happen again, even though you know it won't.
yes.
Right. Yeah. Rational left brain knows it won't. Emotional right brain is screaming at you.
Yep. And then
Yep.
they get stuck in the middle.
Very common.
Like
Very
get
common.
stuck. Got to look at all the scenarios.
How long
that
does
is
it
there.
usually take you? Do you cycle on that for 10 minutes, for 3 hours, a day? How long does it take you to come back to base normal?
It depends. Because there's a lot of factors that tie into that. Like first off, have I eaten today?
Sure. Yep.
Because
100%.
if I'm hungry, I can't think as rationally as I could.
Yep.
What other stressors do I have going on in my life? And luckily, he's allowed me to not have very many stressors at all. So,
Well done, Axel. Well done.
yeah, that is a really important thing for me. On average, probably 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Where I get stuck and I try to shift out of it. And then I'm like, actually, I shifted out long enough. I'm coming back so I can reel in, be like, okay, I already knew this was ridiculous, but now I can explain why it's actually ridiculous.
Yep.
So,
are they decreasing in frequency? Is it about the same? Is it getting better? Is it kind of just, you just have to keep fighting it? What is it for you right now?
it's definitely getting better.
They're getting better.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely getting better. Since we've been back together, it's
About 3
definitely
months.
been decreasing.
So you're settling in. Okay.
Mm.
We could leave it alone and it would eventually probably get mostly better on its own, but it's actually a great opportunity to actually resolve it and then bond you guys in a tighter way.
Mm-hmm.
As we resolve those things together, it forms a catalyst to make you guys actually trust each other more. So rather than just do it on your own necessarily. One thing that we can do with this is whenever you have those feelings, absolutely yes, resolve it on your own and try to regulate self,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want you rushing to him like, oh, I had a feeling and Adam said, because then he's going to hate my guts. So we don't want to do that.
Very true.
Yeah, see, and it's fair.
We talked about that too.
What we do need to do, and what would be really great, is notifying him of like, hey, I've realized that when these certain things happen, not your fault, but it does inspire this weird feeling in me. So if these things ever happen, is it comfortable for you if I ask you a quick question or just get maybe just some basic reassurance on it? Or if you just explain just one more sentence, a little extra context or something like that? What would be most helpful for you? Is it like hey, something is about to happen? Do you just need a hug? Do you just need a burger? Like, because maybe that's it. Maybe you can let him know and then he can tell you like, hey, you haven't eaten today. But what do you need? What would help you feel more at peace and also would help you feel like he cares about you?
I mean, honestly, he really does a good job on his own with that.
Wonderful.
For me, the biggest issue is how do I recognize when the most appropriate timing is? Because what I will do, because of my anxious thought pattern, is I will try to downplay a lot of my own feelings. Just like, oh, it's really not that big a deal. And then I'll put it aside. And I want to bring it up in the most appropriate timing. And that is where I will get stuck in the left and right brain of thinking is like, I know this is a thing. I need to talk about it. It's not a big deal.
Oh, no.
But then like trying to overdo it. And so just be like, hey, hey.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know what it's like from my perspective for him to be like, hey, I want to talk later.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no.
That's death. Do you do the thing? I hope you don't do the thing, but most women do the thing. And you'll know the thing. The thing is women wait all day because they're like, well, I can't bring that up. That'll stress him out. He's working right now. He's tired right now. He's stressed. He's uncomfortable. He's blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the day, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock, whatever bedtime. The guy's like, oh, he gets in his bed and he gets all settled in and he's cozy and the blankets go up and the woman goes, aha. He's relaxed. Now is the best time to bring it up. And she's like, because then he'll react best and it'll go great. And like in her mind, she thinks it's going to be perfect. And then the dude is like ambushed with his blankets pulled up to his neck. Like,
I was
why?
safe. I was safe before.
I was almost there. like, right? The thing. She's laughing. I know. That's the
So
thing.
it's funny because every time I get in bed and I put the covers, I'm like, this is my favorite part of the day. And I go to sleep. So yeah, if she did that, I'd be like, you ruined everything that is. Why do you hate me? You
Gotcha.
and God both
Okay.
don't love me right now.
Okay.
So no, that would be the worst time.
Okay. I'm glad that you don't do the thing.
Don't do the
I'm
thing.
very glad that you don't do the
No.
thing.
Because it's always funny, obviously you're talking about like, oh, what's the best time? I wouldn't be stressed out if she's just like, hey, I want to talk later. I'm like, it's on the docket. That's like,
Amazing.
it's on the docket. I would find the time and I'm like, all right, now we're going to do it. Because it's definitely not while I'm eating, watching TV.
Hey guys, just pause for a second. I know that here on this program, we talk a lot about attachment issues and about fixing them and how great that feels. But I know that a lot of you in the comment sections have told me that you feel overwhelmed and intimidated at the idea of trying to go through and fix your attachment challenges. Some of you are in relationships and you don't know how to help your partner repair their attachment, share their feelings, and be more connected to you in a productive and loving way. For those of you out there who are struggling, I want you to know that we offer a special program designed to work with you on a strict schedule, even if you only have an hour a week. The Attachment Repair Program is designed to help us, all of us certified attachment specialists inside the program, walk with you through your journey on a measured step-by-step process for fixing your attachment issues. This is great for individuals or for couples who are wanting to overcome their attachment issues and never be haunted by those problems ever again. So if you're afraid of rejection, if it's hard to share your needs, and if you're feeling stuck and nothing else has worked, join the Attachment Repair Program today, and let's work together on building a great relationship for the rest of your life. Is there any part, and I understand the anxious thinking, if someone says, hey, I got to talk to you about something later, instantly they're like, you're going to shoot me in the head. This is it. You've learned that I am the scum of the earth and I'm going to die and it's coming and I don't even know what's coming yet.
What did I do last Tuesday?
What did I do?
Time,
right? Right. And the end is near. And then you freak out with an avoidant person, not usually. So here's a thought. When you say, hey, can I talk to you later? Is there anything she needs to clarify in there at all about the topic? Or nope. Do you want her to say, he did the thing. That was the other thing. That's the other thing. Is there anything she needs to say, like, hey, can I talk to you later about a feeling I'm having?
No.
Nothing. Just, hey, can I talk to you later?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you need her to give you a time frame of amount of minutes that she will need from you so that you can slot it in?
Because most things that she talks about are pretty inconsequential. She thinks they're big things. I'm like,
wait a minute. Let's say that. Let's say that in a gentler way.
Oh.
The things she says are not inconsequential. The things that she's afraid of usually don't bother me. Say it that way, maybe.
The things that she thinks are really big deals, right?
Beautiful.
She doesn't realize that they're not that big deal. Like the things she would be stressed out about. Mm-hmm. I'm like, baby, we just have to do this. Oh,
right.
Yep. All right, let's finish the show. Like, you know, like it's so anytime she's ever brought something to my attention that she wants to talk about, it's never a long conversation. It's never important or it's never intense like she thinks it is.
There we go.
Like it literally is just she just needs to talk about it.
Beautiful. Okay.
And it doesn't ever change anything between us.
Did you hear him? Mm-hmm. He wants you to just tell him. Perfect. One thing my wife does.
Easy.
Yeah, I know. I was like, because think about any time that you have, nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's just like,
okay. Because I feel like most things are already covered and talked about anyway. Because we do talk a lot. I feel like we probably talk more than the average couple does.
So this is actually not a bad thing. I don't want you to just like shut up and not do it. Because here's what's awesome. It is a bonding opportunity. You have a feeling. You say, hey babe, can I get 10 minutes of your time later? Or hey, can we talk a little bit later? My wife shoots me those texts all the time. It's just the kids threw up. I need to talk to you about it. Or, hey, I need a hug. Whatever it is. Like she just sends me a text.
I will say, don't give me a time frame because I'm going to hold you to that time frame. If you say 10 minutes, I'm like 9:59. This is over.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good caution. Say, we're building it. All right. Hey, can I talk to you a little bit later? Yeah, no problem. At 7 and give her a time. Yeah, 7:00 works for me. Cool. Just do that. And then go to him. And then here's what's great. You go to him, and when you guys resolve it like that, what you're actually doing for her brain is you're releasing a flood of vasopressin and oxytocin in her brain at the same time. I have helped you solve stress, I helped you solve a problem, and I made you feel loved and cared for at the same time. That the hormones that release in your system at that time, plus some serotonin, your mood is enhanced, you feel safe, you feel connected. That actually builds chemical trust in you, and you are less likely to have those issues in the future biochemically. You're also more likely to trust them in the future if any new issue pops up. Any new irrational thoughts that pop up during hormonal cycles when you're more or less nervous or scared anyway, things like whatever might happen, even on days where you haven't had a decent meal, you will trust him more, and over time you'll feel safer. Now that high level of oxytocin, it actually drives a higher immune system for you, right? Do you guys want kids?
Yes.
Couple.
How many?
7 to 9.
Yeah.
7 to 9,
This-
or a couple.
She puts. I'm fine with 5 to 7 for sure.
5 to 7 is
Yeah.
tolerable to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
This 9 number she keeps throwing out. I'm like, you have to have 9.
Okay.
Like that's 9. Just-
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
So we get to 6, and then you have quadruplets.
Right.
There we go. Okay.
Exactly.
Then everybody's happy because nothing was done wrong. Okay. Understood.
I'd be more than happy to have twins or triplets just so that I don't have to have more pregnancies.
I hear that.
So-
I hear that. So that oxytocin flow, when you give her that little moment of reassurance, when you get that, drives your immune system up. So you get healthier and stronger, more resilient against sickness. It actually suppresses physical pain. If you have any chronic pain or anything like that going on, suppresses allergy responses, autoimmune issues suppress. At the same time, if you have children, if you're breastfeeding, your milk supply will go up during that time. It actually makes you more able to do that. It improves pregnancy challenges, nausea, morning sickness during pregnancy. It makes you more resilient, and it actually enhances your own daily flow. So you'll actually be a better mother to your children during those moments. So it's great to practice that now, even if it seems like an inconsequential moment. It's like, babe, like, no, yes, I would still love you if you were an earthworm. Yes, I would still love you, right? It's okay, right? That moment is such a biochemical reassurance for her. 100% do it. Take those 4 seconds and do it. And please, please, please make sure that you're asking him for those things, because if you're just sitting there stewing on it, you're missing an opportunity. Think of it that way.
to tell you that you're silly.
Correct. Correct. No, by all means,
You
because
know?
then you laugh and you bond like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you need, if anything, in return? Because that's a service you're providing, and relationships need to be fair. What do you need in return? To be
She
able to
does
provide that?
so much for me. Whatever she wants, she can have. Like
That's awesome. Blank check.
It's literally.
I don't hear avoidant people write blank checks very often.
I mean, she doesn't ask for anything, and she does so much. I'm like, yeah, baby, you can have that. I don't say no to much, and if it's no, it's not right now.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
whatever.
You did say that she doesn't ask for anything.
Mm-mm.
Do you know what she actually wants and expects in a relationship? Do you know what her boundaries are?
So when I say she didn't ask for anything, she didn't ask for anything that is way out of this world that I wouldn't do.
Okay.
So typically whatever she asks, I say yes to because I don't think twice about whatever it is. Asking the question like, hey, do I know what the boundaries are and what she's looking for?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're pretty much on the same idea of like what that looks like for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably one of the biggest things that she has been wanting to bring up that we have not actually made time to talk about is previously, I made the comment we have doom meetings, which, was from the Invader Zim song. It's not actually death, doom, destruction.
Yep.
And we have not had one, and I have not had a thought process of actually the same thoughts I was before we broke up. And I think that's something that should be addressed because that was pivotal to our growth and sustainability and what we actually wanted to go moving forward, and because we had a clear plan.
Yep.
And those thoughts of what should be on the Doom meeting and actually saying that haven't really been popping up. And I'm actually just now remembering that we haven't talked about that. We haven't done that.
How long has it been since you haven't done that?
The last Doom meeting was in February, maybe.
Ooh,
Now,
like 2 months before the breakup?
yes,
About 8 weeks.
I would consider the last couple conversations we had to be to the same degree as that without the direction.
Recently?
The clarity of direction, yes. So it's like, hey, we're going to get together to talk about where we're heading, but it wasn't as intentional as him titling it, like the Doom meeting. Like we both went into it with notes. The first one was, hey, we need to find reasons to break up. And if we can find too many reasons to break up, like it's time to just do that.
Okay. Interesting.
But
Sounds stressful, but useful.
very stressful. But definitely very beneficial because we couldn't find the reasons up until we hit that.
Did.
Yes. But those weren't things those were outliers for sure and have been resolved.
How much warning did you guys have? Because you had said you had about 6 to 8 weeks where you weren't having those meetings and things crept up on you pretty hard and you guys broke up. How much warning did you guys have about those issues that were springing up?
So we don't have Doom meetings that frequently.
Okay.
And so that wasn't a reason why we broke up in that sense. It was more just like, had an incident, and so we did break up.
Okay.
And then after we were back together, because the Doom meetings have always been personally my thought process of things.
Understood.
clear whiteboard. I'm drawing on it. This is where we're going. These are the things that we were supposed to find out separately, so we can talk about them here.
Yep.
Religion, family,
Yep.
Jobs, whatnot. Income, and we just really haven't had a breakdown talk like that.
Okay. Do you guys
Not
have
recently.
those sound like reactive meetings to challenges that you guys are experiencing? Do you guys have you ever had scheduled weekly check-ins with each other? Have you ever done that?
No, but so the do meetings weren't reactive. We were planning those.
You were planning.
Yeah,
those?
so
Okay.
I'd pick a date on the calendar randomly. I'm like, hey, we're gonna have a do meeting.
Okay.
And so I would leave up everything that we talked about on the do meeting on the whiteboard, so we
Okay.
can consistently see it, remind each other, and like, okay, this is where we're
And
headed.
those are helpful. So I'm a big advocate for running marriages and families and everything. What you guys are building
Mhm.
as a business, because that's really what the only structure that makes sense is as a business.
Mhm.
You have to run it with logistics in mind. Providing for the departments, the different kids and things you're going to have, the homeschooling or whatever programs you're going to put them into. Everything financially even runs very much like a business. So I love that you guys are having that level of structure. That's amazing. Most couples aren't doing that. It sounds like what you guys are missing is an ongoing check-in that's just sort of comfortable. Like Monday afternoons, I have with my staff and my team and my business partner and everything. We get together, we talk about what our projections are for that week, what our goals are, KPIs we need to hit. We assign projects. We say, hey, what do you need from me? How can I help you this week? What problems are going to pop up? What cool things are coming up? We check in on Mondays. There's also a Friday wrap up where we kind of go over everything from last time. You don't have to have multiple meetings a week, but I very, very much recommend you guys have at least a 15-minute meeting per week where you just check in. You can bring up anything that's been lingering. You can bring up any problems that haven't come up. You can bring up what's going to be helpful for the next week. A lot of times the female partner, the wife, in this case, I'm just going to call you a wife because you guys are heading that direction. And she's usually going to ask, like, how can I enhance your chances of success in the next week? What can I do to remove stress from your plate so you can focus and be more productive? How can I increase your productivity? Right. And the husband will usually say, what can I do to make sure that your stress level is low so that you can be your best self in the next week and you can really take care of your role as well? Right. Reduce stress and increase productivity. Those are the two things usually that both sides are looking at. Great time to do that once a week to align, but also bring up anything that's been lingering. This way, nothing ever lingers for longer than 7 days so that you don't have an 8-week gap and then things creep up on you. It explodes. You break up. That doesn't happen. Make sense?
Yes.
So that's step number one. I recommend you make it a date. Go out for coffee. I usually take my wife out and we make a joke like, all right, we're going to make this quick so we can get home to our families. Right. And it is. Make it a joke. It should not be an awful experience. But have a 15-minute meeting, 10 minutes, minimum. 15 minutes is usually good. Check in, talk about things. One thing you can do is, how are you feeling in our relationship this week? That's a great question. Just how are you feeling in our relationship this week? And then maybe give it a number, 1 to 10, right? 0 is like, I wish I was dead. And 10 is like, I have never been more euphoric than I am at this moment, and something might be wrong because I'm so over the moon. Like, I think I accidentally took drugs. Like that would be that. You're probably never going to be 10 ever. Okay. Don't ever expect 10. You should not be like 0 either, or like 1.
Right.
The worst thing you can do is take the other person's score personally. Usually people are like, well, I gotta be honest, it's like a 5. Don't ever go, oh, why? What did I do? Or even, and that might be yours. Yours might be like, well, how do we go to 10? Like, what do we do right now? Like, it's got to be the round number, the perfect number. No, like you cannot go to perfection immediately, especially in that moment. And that's the urgency. But also, you can't take it personally and take their score like I did something bad. That just makes so many additional problems. Instead, here's the only follow-up question you're allowed to ask, right? How are you feeling in our relationship? 1 to 10. And then, how can we help you go up by 1 point? How can we, teamwork language, how can we help you to go up by just 1 point? Now, nobody is ever going to tell you 1 point. Well, I need some new socks. No, they're going to be like, well, I've been lonely this week. I need some more time. It'd be great if in the next 7 days we could prioritize a little more couples time, either maybe an extended date or a couple nights this week. Could we just make a little bit of quality and quantity time, just a little bit, even half an hour a night? For me and my wife, 5 nights a week, we have to have at least 45 minutes together where we sit and we talk and we share, we laugh, blah, 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 away from the kids, right? You put them in the room, toss a couple steaks in there so that they can feed like jackals. And then you spend 45 minutes holding hands, talking and laughing. You might need that, right? In the next 7 days, let's prioritize a little bit more couples time. Maybe it's the opposite. You know what? I've been feeling really exhausted. I really just need more time to myself. I need to breathe a little bit more this week. Not a problem. You know what? When is a good time for you to do that? How do you want to block that off? What's going to be great? Do you want to go out on your own? Do you want me to leave the house for a while, go out with my friends, and you just have the home to yourself for a few hours? What's going to work? Whatever it might be. And you guys are laughing. There's something there.
Yeah. So, and one of my big stressors in like the last 5 weeks been crazy schedule. I'm like, hey, babe, I'm out of here. I got a hotel for 3 days. I got some new DJ stuff. I'm like, I was going to hang out here.
Okay.
She was there for 2 of them. I'm like, baby, what do you do? It's like, I just need to go. And and she was there. Yeah.
I hear that. Was she there because you wanted her there? That's what I figured.
Yeah, that's what happened.
It sounds like you needed some time and you weren't sure how much time you were going to need. You guys can do that. Like in the next week, we need to prioritize this time. Cool. How urgent is that? I'm feeling the urge to rent a hotel room for 3 days. Cool. Let's give you time today for a minimum of 6 hours and then check in with me and tell me how it's going. And if you still need time, we can slot some in, or yes, you can go get a hotel room and be away from me for a while. That's totally fine. Maybe you guys just needed some time in a hotel room in a different environment, maybe.
Yeah, it was fun.
That happens.
I'd say I was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get out. I'm like, this is so much better.
Yeah.
And
Change of environment.
Change of environment. I work obviously a lot, and then I also work a lot at home as well. And so I just need that breakaway.
I hear that.
I had that. I'm like, everything's better. Oh, now we're at 9. Baby, come back.
See?
Come back. Where have you been? Why are you not here?
Now, you learned something important there, right? Associations, the power of associations. So a lot of men, I work from home, same thing. I have an office. I only work in my office. If I'm going to be on my phone for anything, I don't do it on the kitchen table. I don't do my phone on the couch. My office. For some guys, they don't have a home office, but they have a corner. And that corner is like fenced off with police tape and murder outlines and everything on the floor. That is my office. Nobody goes in there, and I only work there. Sometimes it's a work uniform, right? I have, in my office, I have a wardrobe that I wear these outfits in there. Outside of there, I'm in like a V-neck. I'm in like this polos or something, just relaxed for the house or whatever. Not in my office, right? Different uniform, different space, different tasks. The brain separates like that. So number one. Number two, you also learn that you can actually relax a little bit with her. Yeah. Maybe you need a little bit of time away from her. Cool. I get that. But also then you are part of his relaxation. You're part of his peace. That's wonderful. So yes, do the weekly check-ins. If you need it, and you guys might reach a time where you desperately need some time together because you feel lonely and you desperately don't want that because you need time away. That is totally fine. Juggle that. Okay, what's the urgency here? Which one of you is more urgent? And care for each other, right? You don't have to jump to, well, mine's urgent. No, okay. Which one of us is about to explode? Okay, if I cannot handle it, get away. And then reward her when you come back and say, then we are definitely going to dive deep and take care of each other. Yeah. Make sense?
It does. So we actually had a very similar scenario to that. It was whenever you worked, you hit that just wall burnout.
Oh, yeah.
And in my head, I'm feeling anxious. I was feeling lonelier at the time, and I played all kinds of scenarios in my head. And he also hit such a wall that he got sick.
Yep.
And
happens.
I finally was like, so it's not me, right? Like because I sat and I'm like, nothing makes sense.
Yep.
But he's acting like all the environmental indicators for me. Yep. And that was actually one of the times where I'm like, there's too many things. My feelings are telling me something bad is going to happen. But then I was able to shift out of it long enough. I'm like, but it doesn't make any sense. Like everything's been going really great.
Remember that his oxytocin receptors shut off, and he'll actually become very averse to oxytocin. You're going to try to kiss him. He's going to do the squirm and the wiggle and try to get away from you. Or he'll kiss you, but his lips are like concrete kind of thing. Like it's just perfunctory. It's going to feel like he doesn't love you anymore.
It was very much like that. Yep. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
And women go into damage control mode. What has happened? What did I do?
What did I do? What happened with him? And then I finally, because I was, I had things to do. I got home that day and I sat on the couch and I'm like, I'm going to give him space, but also like, I got to know. Mm-hmm. I need to know. And I was like, okay, like it's not me though. Right. And you remember what I'm talking about?
I was out.
Because he was almost, it was another switch in his brain. It was probably like the oxytocin switch, just like, not there. Like he was.
Dissociation.
I was fried.
Yep.
Like
you get that cooked, you just dissociate. You just shut off. You become a machine, and you just work until you die.
Because I remember you asked me you like popped in my room and asked me something, but I don't.
It was in the living room.
There too.
But I came home and he was asleep on the couch, and he woke up. He's like, okay. So I went into the bedroom, like trying to figure out if I can see any environmental indicators to figure out what's going on before I start asking him questions. And then I come in, I sit on the. I was gonna go lay down on the couch with you, and he's like, no. I'm like, okay. So he got up. And then he like wandered off into the bedroom. I'm just sitting there. And then that's when you came out. And I'm like, okay, are you good? And then that's when you were like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm just burnt out, tired. I'm like, okay, it's not me. And he's like, no. And then I could see him. He went back to what he's doing. And then the switch, he's like, I should probably remind her and make her feel better. And he came up and just put his hand on my forehead. And it's just like,
yep.
And I was like, that's all I needed.
Correct.
Because I also knew what he was communicating with me
100%.
through that. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave the house. And like, you can just have the house for the day. And 100%. I did that. And you felt a lot better, I think. Well, you seemed better when I came home. So.
How long did you boil in those thoughts, though, without asking him like that? How long did you boil?
4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours.
I was stressed. Because I definitely was reading too far into things, but it was bad timing of some of the things. Like
women are so concerned about timing, and men almost never are. As long as we're not about to fall asleep, we don't care. Yeah. Like,
and I think it's because we know we're a little bit more sensitive when it comes to the emotional side of things, and so I'm like,
you don't want to get your head bit off either, because
yeah. So I'm like, why would you ask me that right now? I'm clearly in the corner crying. Why would you want to talk about this? No. And so I think that's a lot of where it comes from, at least for me. But yeah, it was because it seemed off the night before. We slept on the couch, and then when we got up the next day, I had to go do things, and the whole time I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then he sent me some stuff that I read way too far into, and then I'm like, that's when I shifted out of it. I'm like, he knows me well enough, and that's also not how he communicates in the first place. It doesn't make sense. But this is really, really bad timing. Really bad. Because he sent me an album. You remember talking about the Avril Lavigne album?
Oh, Goodbye Lullaby.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everything went bad at the same. Yeah.
It was horrible. It was the worst thing. But there were
he
songs
walks out wearing
in
a
there.
shirt like "I don't love anyone" kind of thing. Right?
Just black
like,
eyeliner and everything.
Right. Right.
Very deep. Very sad. Very like it's a fantastic album.
It is a fantastic album.
Worst timing.
But it is also a breakup album.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only way to go worse is when a man's listening to like Celine Dion in the garage kind of thing, right?
Like, we lost him.
Okay, yeah. I understand. So Perfect Storm.
Yes, it was the most perfect storm.
We need to get to a place where you feel so much more comfortable asking him questions. What's the thought process? If I ask him too soon, if I ask him at the wrong time, we're gonna break up? What's the thought process? Rational or irrational?
There definitely for a while, not so much anymore, but definitely for a while, the concern of not having a firm foundation because it was so rocky, things fell apart, and then now they're back together. So it's like, how do we continue? How do I make sure I'm not walking on eggshells or break an eggshell trying to get back to that?
Did not bringing things up contribute to the original breakup for you guys?
No.
Okay. So that wasn't a factor for you. Okay.
No.
Definitely get this under control for your own peace of mind. I will tell you this, because when the sun is shining, you sweet summer children. When there's no children involved, when neither one of you is covered in throw up, and no one's peed on you recently, right? And like you're not covered like front and back with like 3 babies clinging to you, and you're not like in the other room like stressed out from like bills and hospital bills and everything. When that's happening, you don't want this going on.
Right.
Right now, you guys can handle it because it's just the two of you. You can go away and get a hotel room for 3 days. You guys can laugh about it, and that's cool. It will not always be this easy.
Right.
And this is easy right now, to be honest with you, compared to what's coming next.
Yeah. So what do you think I'm going to do if you ask me a question?
That's a good question.
Because where does the fear come from of ask me a question?
It comes from past experiences and just being stuck in the lack of control and not knowing what the other side actually looks like. So just like, even though I probably already do know because of the conversations that we've had, because and we've never talked about anything where the conversation has veered so far out there where I'm like, how did we get here?
Right.
The fear would most of it downplaying my own feelings, knowing that it's probably already like it's ridiculous in the first place. I think that's a lot of
100%.
it. Yeah.
You have your logical left brain where we're conscious
Mm-hmm.
mind. You have your unconscious mind, the emotional right brain. The best way to paint this is like there are two different AIs. Okay, you have two different AI running in your brain at the same time. One is conscious, one is unconscious. One's emotional. One only learns through experience. The other one actually learns through academics and intellectual ideas and conversation, right? This brain learns through conversation. This brain learns from experience, okay, unconsciously. So then you guys get into a circumstance. She knows logically on her logical emotional brain that you're good, you're honest, you're going to work with her, things are going to be okay. Her emotional brain, and here's the problem, both AIs were trained the foundational knowledge they had in an environment where people didn't care. People didn't want to listen. People reacted badly. You probably asked when you were a little girl. I have 3 daughters. They asked me the weirdest questions at the worst possible time. I'm like in the bathroom. They pick the lock and they like bust in to ask me like, Daddy, what color is a goblin? And I'm like, it's like 5 a.m. Why are you here? What are we doing? Like, it's the weirdest. Like, I hear they're clawing at my office door when I'm in there trying to do my tasks, and they're asking me questions about hummingbirds, all kinds of stuff. You probably did this when you were little, and you were probably punished for it extensively. You probably felt sad. You probably felt scared. You probably got screamed at for being up in the middle of the night trying to get comfort. There was probably a number of times that both AIs were trained. Don't ask questions. Nobody cares. Nobody loves you, right? Now, here we are. Logical brain has now tried to retrain and say, okay, Axel's a good person. He actually cares. He actually does try to work with me on problems. Emotional brain's like, nah, I need proof. And yeah, okay, he put his hand on my forehead that one time. And there's little steps. This brain, your right side brain, will take longer to retrain. And that's exactly why I said when you do those little things like that, they are big things. To her, they're giant things. She's like, the hell? Like, took 4 seconds. No, you're fine. That's a giant. That is a giant rewrite.
I hear that all day.
It is.
We are fine.
That's a gigantic rewrite on her emotional brain. So that AI is relearning. Your unconscious mind is relearning to trust him through vasopressin, through oxytocin, through experience. Okay, that's what that is. It's a reprogramming. Same for you. Your brain, the reason we have avoidant behaviors is because your brain said other people screw things up. When I'm stressed out, they make it worse. Get them the hell away from me, and I can't trust them anyway. So make them go away. And I will only talk to them when I have the time and the optimal situation. Now your brain is slowly relearning. Okay, when I'm stressed out, she doesn't make it worse. She's starting to help me. Okay, that's slowly reprogramming. And that's why I asked, as your emotional discipline is so crucial for that, because when he sees you resolve issues yourself, his trust goes up for you a bit. He goes, huh. She's a little bit different from other people. It's a little different, a little weird, a little cool. And when you bring him peace and when you care for him, like he said, blank check. Like you're doing those things, you're rewriting his emotional unconscious brain as well. So keep doing that for each other. That will take time, but it pays off so phenomenally. That's the big stuff for the long run. So weekly check-ins, mandatory at this point, mandatory. Okay. Keep renewing those pieces as well. What else are you guys stuck on, or what else are you concerned about? Because something crept up on you and popped and exploded and broke you guys up. Have you fully resolved that? And are you afraid of something like that happening again?
I'm not concerned about that happening
Not
again.
concerned about a breakup happening again?
I remain conscious of decisions that could lead me back there. Okay. I definitely don't have concern about it anymore for a number of reasons. But over the summer, and that's where I told him this even a couple weeks after we broke up. I'm like, I really feel like this was for a reason. And even though it was hard, I grew a lot through the summer and had a chance. Like I did all of your courses and did a lot of work on myself, because where there were things that added to the severity of the situation. A lot of it still stemmed from me and things that I still needed to work through. Because, like, I'd spent the last 2 years working through, like, not dating really, making sure I was getting to the point where when I found the man that I wanted to marry, it was time. Like, it was ready. I didn't have to time out. I have to fix some things. And I didn't realize because I wasn't in a relationship, because sometimes, unfortunately, you don't learn things about yourself until you're in that style of relationship. Yeah. I rooted out a lot of those issues. Really, for me, the hardest part I have going forward, I would say, is breaking out of the same old thought patterns and habits, and kind of like what you're already talking about is just like reprogramming that brain.
Okay.
So
here's one more piece I want to throw in. Is there any need to build a different breakup process? So the reason I asked that is something popped, blew up, you guys broke up, and then it was really hard. Do you guys would it be comforting to have a different process for managing conflicts if you guys disagree, if something big pops? Did you talk about how to make decisions like that any differently?
I don't believe so.
We didn't talk about it, but that's what we communicate so well.
That's excellent.
And so
I'm glad.
that's where we don't consciously break that down and talk about it in conversation because I don't feel like it's totally necessary.
Okay.
But what would you have to say on that?
I agree with that. Not that it wouldn't be advantageous by any means,
Right.
but some of those thought processes, like,
right now you're good.
Yeah, well, the only reason why we broke up was, like
all
I
the
said,
disruptions. Yep.
Yeah, and so, like, if I see that a mile away, if that ever happens again, and it's like, hey, babe, we gotta get your horns.
No, but it crept up on you pretty quick and then turned into a breakup pretty quick is the thing I'm thinking. And yes, your relationship was young. Yes, you guys were at that mark where the dopamine is dead anyway. That happens a lot. All of these, it was perfect storm. It was a perfect storm circumstance.
Yes.
So my wife and I, again, 17 years together. We were dating for a year before we got married. So that 17-year process, we've had some rocky moments. So we had to build an agreement that if there's a rocky moment, if there's a tough thing, we bring it to that weekly meeting. We make sure that we are always bringing things to the weekly meetings. If you skip a weekly meeting and don't bring up something that was a problem, you are the problem. That's our automatic thing. So if someone's like, well, if we bring something up, you go, okay, how long has this been a problem? And we always ask that. And if it's like, well, 10 days. And we give each other that look. I know I should have. Well, why didn't you? And it's not an accusation. Why didn't you bring it up? What was the problem? What made you not bring this up? Why did you hold this? Well, whatever it might be. And then we have to resolve that. We have to close that loop. I have a very, very dear friend who always tells me every conflict must have a consequence. And that sounds terrible and it sounds like you're going to shoot someone in the head. But what that means is whenever you guys have an issue, you don't just resolve it and be like, we're good. You resolve it and then you fix the gap that you fell through. So there was a gap for you guys. There was a conflict gap. There was how do we resolve conflicts and what's our process? It needs to be, we will have weekly check-ins to make sure we resolve them when they're this big. Mm-hmm. If for some reason something pops off really big, we will have at least 3 meetings about it. You can have that agreement. We'll have at least 3 meetings before any decision is made. All decisions will be, both parties will have full input before a decision is finalized, is an agreement that's usually helpful. And I'm actually saying that for you. A lot of avoidant people, when they get stressed, they pull back and they say, I will go into my mind palace and I will make a decision and then I will inform the other person of that decision. And that's their process. And that's that unconscious process. And then the other person feels betrayed because they were never allowed any input. And they're like, well, I have really important information. I have new evidence. And they're like, sorry, the case is already closed. I never go back once I make a decision. That's usually what they say too.
That's exactly how
I never go back. I will death first before I go back. And then the stress goes away and they're like, oh, wait, I've changed my mind. That's usually the process. So if you ever find yourself driving toward a decision, pause and just ask. You don't have to turn the decision over to the other person, but at least say, here's a great phrasing. I've been really thinking about this recently. I'm getting close to a decision. I'd like your input before anything is decided. Comfortable?
Sounds fair.
So this is a process right here that can make sure that things don't happen like that again. And then include in there some sort of agreement. hey, we will get help from a third party, whether it's, my mom, your grandma, Adam, I'm here. Guys, shoot me an email. You have an email, call me. Or, someone important in your life, a priest, a pastor, a mentor, somebody that you guys can trust. We will go to a third party and sort of arbitrate and have some of those mediations with somebody before we make a final decision. The reason you need this is, like, if you sign a business contract, you don't want a business that can just like that overnight. You don't want a business that can just rip in half and be gone. You need to have a process that protects that business. And again, right now, you guys are young. It's wonderful. You're adorable. You're sweet. You're both kind and cute and sweet. But eventually you guys are going to have kids, right? And you need to make sure that you have it baked in. When we have children relying on the stability of our marriage, it can't just be our feelings, because maybe both of us are stupid at the same time. There's times where my wife and I have both been stupid at the same time. These plans are for when we're stupid. These plans are not for when we're calm and rational. It's for when we are completely stupid, tired, stressed, haven't slept in 3 days, we're clawing the walls, dissociating, and everything we feel is our fault. We don't know what to do, and we're crying in the corner. This is when the plans are for. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is, I'm going to say something controversial, but this is why I encourage couples to come up with a prenup agreement. Not like, this is my money, that's your money, screw you. A prenup should be so much more than that. How will we handle conflict? How will we talk with each other? We will have weekly meetings and weekly check-ins. It doesn't just have to be when we get a divorce, this is what it should be. This is how we will live in relation to each other. This is our agreement as a couple. And you build an agreement together the same way you would with a business. And you can update it. This should be a living agreement that you will update. And you can, okay, we've both agreed to make this change. Instead of every week, it's every 2 weeks for the next 6 months, because we're just so exhausted with the kids. Or instead of every week, it's actually going to be every 3 days, because things are really tense and we need to have faster updates. They could be, during this window, we will do this. Here's how we will negotiate. Here's how we would treat each other. You guys have a long-term purpose in mind. Sounds like family is really important for both of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a longer purpose than that? Is there a mission or a goal or a business or a company, anything you guys want to do?
I think that was part of the things that was missing, because we were previously creating that in the Doom meetings with that structure, and we haven't had one since there to have that same idea in the process.
Bad news. It's your responsibility as the man to provide the vision, right? A woman is the cart, man is the horse. She will hitch to you. Women don't commit to men. They just don't. As much as we love to sing romantic songs about how a woman is committed to a man, it's not. She commits to the vision. She commits to the legacy they will co-create together. And she devotes herself during that to that man. But it's the mission that really draws her in for life.
That's actually really funny you say that, because the last time we sat down, so the first of the 2 days where he's like, no, I'm on the same page, still feel the same way. I told him that we want the same things out of life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wants a legacy, as most men do. I believe, like, he's got strong character, all of the qualities that I would want out of a man, work ethic. And it's, in other words, exactly what I said to him, that I was signing up for, not just him, but those things as well.
Correct.
So
that might be part of the reason he actually flipped the next day and was like, you know what? Actually, you. Because a man, to be crass, I mean, we can get most of the things women provide. We can get those things with money in pretty much every capacity. Yeah. The only thing we can't get is a partner who's right there at our back that we can trust, who has that same vision, who's going to push us on the days that we don't want to do it, the days where we're tired, who's going to really facilitate our success and going to be like believing in it as much as we do. You can't pay an assistant to believe in your vision as much as you do. You can't pay like a COO to like be that invested in your company. Only a co-founder can really do that. And that's what a woman brings to the table, is really that level of connection and then enhancing his productivity and pushing him forward. So as the CEO in this operation, you have to provide the vision. And then she's going to come knock on your door and have a little problem. Hey, I have a feeling. All right, come on in. Let's get it resolved so your department can run smooth. And as the COO, as the operations person, you got to make sure the machines are running, but you also got to make sure your feelings are not getting in the way, right? Yeah. If you're sitting there for 4 hours, like, what did I do wrong? Like, the worst thing you can do is collapse into those feelings, especially if he's like running himself into the ground. He's burned out. It's one of the best things my wife does for me right now is I'm running the business. I've been during the course of this year working a lot of hours. So say it's a little above 80, let's say. I won't say how much above 80, but a little above 80. And she's taking care of our 5 kids with homeschooling. She's a brilliant woman, cleaning, cooking, everything. Had some medical challenges as well. Both of us are so taxed to the limit, right? So when I'm stressed out, a lot of times I don't even know it. I'm just grinding. You turn off the feelings. You're just like, okay, now I'm a robot. And you just go forward. And one of the best things she does for me is get in front of me and say, hey, like a little wave, like, hey, are you with me? Okay. You seem really stressed. I'm just double checking. And she'll say, I'm just double checking. Is it anything between us or is it work? And I say, nope, work. Okay, understood. Is there any, she'll, okay, thank you for letting me know. And then she'll say, what do you need from me to be able to help you? What do you need from me to kind of help manage that stress level? And I'll say, I don't even know. I don't even know. And she's like, well, and then here's what's cool. She brings out the list of things we have prepared in advance when I wasn't stressed. And she's like, these are the things you told me could be helpful during times when you're stressed. I'm like, time capsule from a time I don't even remember. This is helpful. My good brain was working that day. So then we go through the list. I'm like, that one, number 3, that will help. And she's like, okay, cool. And we do whatever that is. So give her things when the sun is shining. Give her tasks that she can do that either relieve your stress or take things off your plate. Notify her of that so she has a list. And I suggest you actually write it down because during those times, here's what's going to happen. Hey, Axel, you're really stressed out. How can I help? I don't know. Get away from me. I don't have capacity to even think about that right now. I don't even have those feelings. I am a robot. Beep, beep, beep. And that's what that's going to be. And you're going to be like, oh, what has worked in the past? And you're like frantically trying to figure it out. And now you're stressed. He's stressed. No, right? Yeah. Build that list.
I say that sounds very familiar.
Yeah,
very familiar.
You know.
Well, and here's what's happened. Here's what happens when a man's stressed. The woman says, how can I help? And in our brain, 2 things happen. 1, I don't even have capacity to give you tasks right now. Please don't do that to me. Or number 2 is everything on my list is things I have to do and you don't have that skill, so you can do nothing for me. Please leave me alone. That's it, right? That's it.
That also sounds very familiar.
And a woman is crushed. She's crushed because she's like, I wanted to help you and you're telling me I'm worthless? And that's devastating, right? How can I enhance your success? How can I help relieve your stress? How can I help you be productive? These are questions, right, around it. These are questions around. You can't become the CEO. You can't be like, hey, go home. I'll take over your job for you. But as the COO, you can step in and be like, what can I do to take stress off your plate? How can I enhance your success? How can I make you more productive? What do you need from me? And then the CEO can say, well, shoot, what can your department do for me? And he can give you something, especially if you've prepared a list in advance, right? Number 5, gotcha, right? And here's what's cool. You can do the same thing with him, right? You said that he put his hand on your forehead and that was like, instant relief because physical contact, affection, attention, right? You are worthy of my time and attention. I am not mad at you. Here is loving physical contact on your scalp, right? No, it is.
That was
like,
it, yeah.
Create a list of things he can do for you when you are crazy, right? When you're crazy, give her a list of things to do to help you. When you're crazy, give him a list of things to do to help you. These 8 things really make me feel safe and loved. Do these, please, right? I call it the what, why, and how often method. What are 2 things that would help you in this moment? Why are they important? Like, what do they actually trigger for you? So I know the deeper need. So I understand what I'm doing. I can see the process. And how often do you need it? Or how much do you need it? How long do you need it? Right? Make sense? Could be anything. Could be a good meal. Could be sex. Could be a hug. Could be, leave me alone for 5 minutes.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Give me 2 hours without human contact. I need no voices, right? Even that can be on the list, whatever you guys need. And here's what's great. By doing this, you're actually giving each other the key to you. You're giving them the key to your brain. This is tremendous trust. And as the other person begins doing it, you remember, oh, I told them that was helpful. Remember we talked about your brain needs to remember that she actually enhances your success during stress. That's vasopressin bonding. Oxytocin receptors, like this, they lock tight, but vasopressin receptors are wide open during times of stress for men, hugely. Now we need his brain though to understand that you're helping him with that stress, right? His brain can't say, I solved problems by myself while she stood nearby. The brain needs to say, we did this together. I did this, but she assisted and enhanced. Make sense?
Yes.
So if you give her that list, we need your brain to say that too. because then you'll relax more and even more in her presence. This is how you get even more peace. This is how you maintain family, the connection for the next 50, 60 years, so that you don't feel like you got to climb the walls and escape at any point. Your brain will actually bond you to her more and more. Give her a list of things, do those lists, do that, and that will initiate vasopressin because his brain will say, she's doing the things that I asked for. This is amazing. And then the enhancement goes. Later, thank her. I really appreciate you doing that. That was so helpful. I appreciate you. That's you activating vasopressin. It's also you flooding her with oxytocin so that she gets that nurturing as well. Make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Keep in mind on those times when the emotions seem so stupid. No, I love women.
Hey.
I love women. But
Hey.
when the emotions seem stupid,
Yeah.
keep in mind that is her salary.
It's just like
Keep in mind that is her salary. You are paying her salary in emotional intimacy. That is basically what you're doing. She needs emotional intimacy and emotional safety. Is usually what women say too. Safety and intimacy. You said he provides a safe, amazing environment for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's one piece. The other piece is emotional intimacy.
So actually that brings up a question that we were kind of talking about earlier.
Ooh.
So with avoidance, they tend to love bomb at the very beginning.
Sure.
And what would the difference be between love bombing at the beginning of a relationship? Let me rephrase. So with love bombing, is it only at the beginning of the relationship or can it happen throughout? And if they start love bombing, is that a sign or an indication that something else might come from that?
Good question. Love bombing for most avoidant people at the beginning, ethical avoidant men, you're not manipulative, right? Ethical avoidant people at the beginning, they love bomb. They think they're giving you dopamine because you're giving them dopamine. So they're like, oh, you're giving me ice cream. Here's some ice cream back. Let's exchange ice cream. That's amazing. Now it's free ice cream. Thank you. And they're exchanging and giving, but what's actually flooding the other person is oxytocin. And it's hyper addictive. So it's like, you're giving me ice cream? Thank you. Here's some heroin. And that's the exchange that's actually happening.
What happened.
And then they have a little bit of a sugar crash and like, oh, well, I can manage that. And then you're like tweaking out like heroin withdrawals over there. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And that's the process. That's why it doesn't line up. So love bombing is you made me feel more feelings at the beginning. And it's when it wasn't real. It absolutely was real.
Okay.
It just, their brain didn't track it the same way typically. And they don't get the same experience. So they're like, well, I gave you and you gave me and we're good. Like, why is this a problem? If you're more anxious, you are so much more susceptible to that process even than secure people are, right? So that's all that is. So avoidant people, they can, I want to say this carefully, they can manually make sure that they're giving you love and care, even if they don't necessarily feel it later on in the relationship. There's probably going to be plenty of times where he's going to make sure he's taking care of your emotional needs that he's not necessarily feeling it, right? He's going to put his hand on you when he's stressed out. He's probably not like, I am so overcome with love and affection. So no, he's like, you need this right now. I will take care of you. Okay. Men give emotional intimacy and emotional safety when we don't feel anything at all. We still give it. Women tend to do the same thing sexually in return, right? You give sex even when you're like, I don't really need it right now, but you clearly do. So have at it, sir, right? That care and nurturing in return. Physical and emotional intimacy is exchanged in that way. That is love and care for a partner. Just happens. I don't care what the feminists say. Now, it just is what it is. Now, love bombing later in the relationship, is that a concern? What's the concern that you have underneath?
So I want to go back a little bit. So essentially love bombing is the dynamic led by the avoidant.
Yep.
Okay. I no longer have that concern.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I think it really cleared up.
Wonderful.
I mean, because I was going to ask, the feeling of love bombing, is that my actual personality? Because I think what you're thinking is love bombing probably actually is me, but the difference is when I have energy to be me and when I don't have energy to be me.
Yes.
Because when I have energy to be me, that's probably where you're like, he's bombing with all this love. When I don't have energy to be me, I look like a robot.
No, it definitely is your personality
Okay.
and just you being super affectionate because you want to do those things. It's not ingenuine by any means, but it is the dynamic because I very much experienced the just heightened oxytocin. Like there were a couple times I'm like, I feel high.
Yes.
Like I'm sober. I feel high.
Yes.
And it's literally just like contact with him, being around him, saying certain things. It did add to the craziness. And then you add the testosterone in there and just everything's completely out of whack.
Yep. Love bombing is usually not intentional. It is not usually malicious in any way, shape, or form. It's not meant as a mechanism of control, not usually. It's an incidental thing that tends to happen because of the dynamic that's going on. That's all. That's why most avoidant people are like, why are you people angry and resentful? I cared for you and we cared for each other. Why are you mad now?
Whoa, yeah.
Like you got free ice cream. Like what's the problem?
Tastes
right?
like heroin.
It tastes like heroin. But
strong.
to the anxious person, it is, and it makes them crazy. And then it gets pulled away, and it feels like an utter betrayal and an abandonment because it was like, no, you got me addicted, and now we're still going. Like, why is this happening?
And that was why it was so detrimental at the time too, because it legitimately felt like I was having withdrawals.
Yeah,
like I would do certain things just like I just gotta get enough.
Yep.
You know, like
where's my fix?
Yes. And it definitely created a difficult dynamic.
You will still have that for the rest of your life. No, you just will.
Yeah.
That's how drugs work.
Well, but it's a normal human thing. Now, here's the thing: is you can get oxytocin from a variety of relationships. You should not just get it with him.
Right.
You need to diversify your oxytocin portfolio, as we say. It sounds very unromantic.
And I definitely did that.
Beautiful. That's exactly, the research is clear. When it's one person, you will be utterly terrified of losing that person. Hypervigilant, paranoid, stressed. It's terrible. When you have friends, family, someday you'll have children, you'll be dogpiled with them, and you'll be like, I don't need oxytocin with anyone. Look at this pile of children. And in that time, you'll have to actually manually be coming to him for that, because a lot of husbands feel uncared for during that window, right? So there's a period of time where you have to manually make sure you're coming to him because the oxytocin won't drive you to anymore. Okay. You're going to have to start manually doing that. It's down the road a bit. Don't worry about that yet. The conversations that you guys will help during those times as well. But no, you'll feel that way for the rest of your life. That's part of you trusting him, is being in this relationship. When you say, I feel safe, most women, when they say, I feel safe, it means you're not going to abandon me. I can just completely collapse into my addiction to you and then care for you, serve you, love you, give myself endlessly and obsessively to you and the mission that we're co-creating. And that's that cycle that will keep a woman loyal and dedicated for life is that biochemical right there. He needs to be worthy of it. You are. Fantastic. Well done. Don't be afraid of it. But that's why you need to have those ongoing checkups. Because if you experience, here's what's great. If you experience withdrawal symptoms, that means that actually that mechanism is low, and then he's feeling more robotic. When he starts feeling more robotic, he will pull back and you'll feel more lonely. And that's a very important thing, because that means his stress level goes up, his cortisol goes up, his immune system goes down, his testosterone will go down, right? He'll actually be sleeping less. He becomes less resilient against cancer, less resilient against heart disease, less resilient against strokes. He actually has massive risk factors because he's in a survival mode. You as the wife need to step in at that point. Yes, he needs to be productive. He needs to go on the hunt occasionally. Yes. But if it goes on and on and on, your sensors, your feelings go off and you say, I feel really lonely. I bet he's probably very stressed. This probably is a good time for me to step in and take care of some of that stress with him. I will get fed, and he will also be brought out of that danger zone and stop redlining. And you can talk with him about that. I see that you're probably redlining. I'm feeling that on my side. That's what your emotions are for. They're actually sensors. I can step in and care for you. So yes, I'm feeling lonely, but that means you are probably hurting. Let's take care of each other. Let me take care of you. It's what my wife usually tells to me. Hey, you're stressed out. I need you to let me take care of you. And I go, baby, I'm fine. I'm okay. My eyes are only bleeding a little bit from the stress. We are fine. And she's like, no, I need you to pause and I need you to let me take care of you for my sake and for you. And I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. And then yes, it's very, very helpful. It is. So use your feelings as sensors, but don't let them fall apart where it's like, it's me, it's my fault. He doesn't want to be around me. He doesn't love me. Worst possible reaction. Hey, something feels off. I don't feel cared for. I feel lonely. He's probably stressed out. Fascinating. That's oxytocin, right? But oxytocin is not the primary driver of longevity for relationships. The research is very clear. Oxytocin helps, but the primary driver for bonding in relationships is vasopressin. It's working together as an effective team, okay? Now you are also going to be flagging for this. Women feel the absence of vasopressin, and your brain is designed to freak out about it on purpose, and then to try to promote some for him, because when you guys get in a stress point, you want him to turn towards you because he already has vasopressin. You don't want him to go cheat on you with his secretary, right? Every woman's worst fear. So when you feel bored, when you feel stuck in a rut, when it feels like the same thing is happening over and over and over, that's lack of vasopressin. So then you'll say, I need us to try something new. I need us to activate some stress voluntarily and then solve it together as a team. That's what your brain is telling you. It's crucial because then when you hit a stress patch, you will turn toward her because you're already pre-programmed to see her as an ally, and you'll solve problems much faster. Guys, is this making sense to you here?
Yes.
Okay. Does this feel like a pathway forward for the next, let's say, 6 months?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wonderful. When you need more, you know where I am. Shoot me an email. Send me a text. I'm here to help.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
You guys are on the right path. Have the courage to keep going together. Just use your feelings as sensors. And when you're stressed, let her help.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I think one of the best ways to phrase that, I guess, is using them as sensors. Doesn't always mean something's wrong, but it might indicate just a direction.
See what I say. No, baby, I'm tired. Yeah,
right. All right. Thank you guys for being so brave to do this in public. Everybody out there, thank you for watching. Leave comments, subscribe. Let them know that they're on the right path. Let them know that they're freaking adorable. I love these guys. They're fantastic. A young couple. Let them know that you care about them too. And if you have questions, let us know in the comments. We would absolutely love that. I know they're blushing right now, and that's great. If you would love to be someone on this show, please write in and let me know as well, because I'm taking a lot of people on, and I want to help a lot of couples and individuals out there. Thank you for watching I Wish You Knew, and we'll see you next time.